Welcome to this channel, a home of stories born from culture, faith, and lived reality. Here, we honor African heritage, amplify powerful women's voices, and tell history with truth, dignity, and depth. These are stories of courage, identity, struggle, and purpose, where faith meets culture, and reality shapes legacy. If you believe stories can heal, teach, and awaken strength within us, you are in the right place.
The night NZINGA was born, rain fell like cleansing tears across the land of Ndongo. The midwives whispered among themselves as thunder rolled gently across the distant hills. It was not a storm of destruction, it was a storm of promise, the kind that comes when heaven's close to earth. Her mother, Kengela, lifted the child and gasped softly. The umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck, but her eyes were open, alert, bright eyes that looked as though they understood the world already. The midwife spoke softly, trembling. "This child is marked for greatness." Her mother, Kengela, lifted the newborn girl and whispered, "Holy Spirit, breathe upon her. Let her walk as a daughter of purpose." The elders said. The infant's eyes opened wider than most, as though she recognized light itself. She did not cry, she simply stared, calm, powerful, aware. Her name was NZINGA, she who blends, she who survives, she who stands. And from the first breath she took, Holy Spirit rested upon her like quiet flame. Ndongo was a land of red earth, wide plains, palm wine, laughter, and women whose voices shaped the rhythm of home. NZINGA grew up among them, hearing their stories, learning their dances, absorbing their pride. Her father often told her, "A woman's voice is a spear. It can protect or pierce. Use your with wisdom." The Holy Spirit led her footsteps. When she walked, she listened. When she watched, she learned. She felt chosen, not for comfort, but for responsibility. The Portuguese marched deeper into the land, capture the innocent, burning homes, demanding tribute. The earth shocked as feet ran. Mothers cried out for their children, and smoke curled into the sky, like sorrow rising to heaven. NZINGA stood on hill and whispered, "Holy Spirit, teach me to be strong." And the wind answered warm, firm, comforting. At the Portuguese court in Luanda, they offered her no chair, a silent insult meant to break her dignity. But she refused to bow. She turned to her attendant and said softly, "Rise, my brother, bend your knee, and let me sit. Our people stand with me." And she sat not in arrogance, but in authority. The governor swallowed his pride. The Holy Spirit filled her word. "We comes as equal," she told him. Her voice did not shake. After betrayal and political traps, NZINGA escaped into the forests of Matamba. The nights were cold, the path was cruel, but the Holy Spirit walked with her, a warmth on skin, a whisper in her heart. "You are not alone. Keep moving." She gathered fugitive, the broken, the terrified, and told them, "If we must build a new kingdom, we will, and God will guide us." In Matamba, she trained men and women together. She believed strength was not in muscle alone, but in purpose. Her warrior rose before dawn, spears gleaming, hearts steady, and NZINGA rode before them, calling out, "A woman can carry a nation. A woman can rebuild a world. Let your courage rise." The Holy Spirit hovered as peace, as wisdom, as hope. NZINGA became the shadow in the forest, the whisper that frightened her enemies, the hope that lifted her people. She used intelligence, not brutality. She freed captives, cut supply routes, led ambushes, but always prayed before battle. "Holy Spirit, lead me. Let my hands protect the innocent." NZINGA traveled across borders, forging alliance with neighboring kingdoms. Her diplomacy was fire wrapped in silk, gentle yet firm, humble yet unbreakable. She said, "Africa gasped many tongues, but one heart. Let us protect one another." Under her rule, Matamba flourished. Markets sang with life again, children ran free, women held positions of authority, and her people walked dignity restored. NZINGA often stood among them quietly, just watching, listening to the peace she prayed for. The Holy Spirit softened her heart. "You have done well." NZINGA negotiated a final peace. With the Portuguese, she signed the treaty, with steady hands, not in defeat, but in victory. As her life drew near its end, she whispered, "May the daughter after me rise with courage. May the women after me speak with strength. May Africa's crown remain unbroken." And she rested, not in sorrow but in eternal purpose. Queen Nzinga is not merely history. She is a reminder that a woman's voice can move mountains, that faith can break chains, that Africa's daughters carry light strong enough to heal nations, and the Holy Spirit still whispers her message. Stand tall, speak boldly, walk with purpose. You are enough. The story of Queen Nzinga reminds us that God does not always choose the loudest voice or the strongest body. He chooses the willing heart. Nzinga's power was not in spear, her crown, or her strategies. It was in her obedience to divine guidance, her refusal to let fear define her, and her courage to stand firm when the world demanded that she bow. This story teaches us that is not escape from struggle, it is strength within it. Nzinga did not avoid pain. She walked through betrayal, loss, war, and uncertainty. Yet she allowed hardship her wisdom, not her bitterness. Her life speaks quiet but undeniable truth. When God empowers a woman, He does not remove the battle, He equips her for it. The moral breeds reality because it reflects our own lives. We are often placed in rooms where no seat is prepared for us. We are asked to prove our worth in systems designed to diminish us. We face injustice that questions our dignity, our faith, and our purpose. Nzinga shows us that dignity does not come from permission, it comes from identity. When you know who you are, God, humiliation loses its power. The story also teaches that true leadership is service guided by humility. Nzinga fought, yes, but she also healed, negotiated, forgave, and rebuilt. She understood that victory without compassion leaves nations empty. Spiritually, the deepest lesson is this: the Holy Spirit does not always speak in thunder often. He whispers in endurance. Nzinga listened, and because she listened, she endured. And because she endures, others lived free. Her life tells us that faith must be lived, not merely spoken. That courage and gentleness can coexist, that obedience can look like resistance, and that standing firm in righteousness can reshape history. In the end, the moral is not about Nzinga, it is about us. When we walk with God, we stand when others expect us to fall. We speak when silence is demanded. We rebuild where destruction once lived. And we become answers to prayers we never knew we were praying. Where God empowers a heart, purpose is born. Where purpose stands, fear retreats. And where faith remains, freedom follows.